All right, let's talk about what you can do for your Rube Goldberg machine. So we're going to start off by creating a rectangle. Oops. I need basic shapes. Okay. So I create a cube, and you can adjust the size by various axes. And we'll start off with a ramp. Now I've turned my rotation snaps off so I can kind of freeform it and hit end to kind of pull that there. Now I would like, for the sake of this project, for there to be some like supports and stuff, so that's not just like floating. So make it look like it's actually supposed to be there by holding it up with supports. You can make these like look wooden. Select them all at once with shift. However you want to do that, but I want it to actually look like it's a thing. So I could start off with a sphere right here. And then we can set the material on that to something that looks more interesting, like a basketball. All right. Now the reason nothing's moving is because we need to just make sure that everything that we want to move is moving. So there's simulate physics. And there we go. So right off the bat, we can start off with some dominoes. And the easiest thing to do here is just to create one. And now I will use my snaps. I'll set those up to 10. I'll turn on simulate physics before I do this. Oops. Keep turning it off on accident. 10's not enough. Let's try 100. 100's too much. Let's try 50. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Okay, that should do it. So I can hold down Alt and select 2 at a time. Sorry, Shift. Now I'm selecting 4 at a time. And then it goes like this. Cool, so we got some dominoes. And then maybe over here, I'm gonna have a cylinder. Turn my snaps on. Shrink that down. Move it up. And then I'm just gonna pull it out by the Z-axis here. Something kind of small. All right, so that when this gets hit, it should rotate. And let me turn my snaps off. Right there. Okay. So we're gonna lock some things on this. So under simulate physics, we're gonna click that. But we're gonna lock its position, and we're gonna only allow it to rotate on the Z-axis, which means I'm gonna lock the other 2 rotations. You can tell it's a Z because it's blue. X is red, green is Y. So let's watch what happens. Cool. Now we have that rotating. Now, in order to make this look like it's real, let's put a cylinder here. Shrink it, move it up by this. So it looks like we have kind of some actual mechanism here for this. Maybe I can make these metal. Metal base gray, sure. And then our dominoes, cubes. Let's set a material in there as well. Nope, not that one. I'm holding down Control to unselect those. So let's just say that these are like marble, maybe. Cool. All right, now let's get everything organized. I'm gonna put this in a folder. We'll call this one dominoes. Let's get this in a folder. And I'll call this one ramp. And I'm actually going to select these 3 and group them so that if I wanted to move this whole thing, I could. Then we have this thing right here. which we're going to put in a folder, and we can call this one, I don't know, rotating pole. Let's see what happens. Whoa, my rotating pole did not like this new support, and that's because there's collision enabled on here. So what I'm going to do is just turn collision off on this. It's just going to be decoration. It's not going to actually do anything. So I'm just going to say collision preset, overlap all. And there we go. So now if I were to, like, for example, select another set of dominoes over here, this should be enough to get it going. And there we go. Okay, maybe now you have like you want something that's gonna cause like something to go a little higher up here. So I'm gonna take another pole and let's start like kind of a new sequence up at the top here. So I'm gonna go very thin pole. And again, we're gonna wanna change the materials and stuff, but for the sake of time, I'm just gonna kind of leave that stuff out. Oops. Drag it by the Z axis, hold down shift if you want to move the camera with it. And then I'm going to put another ball on top of that. Make this one a little bit smaller. Get it right where it needs to go. And oops, hit end to cause it to go there. Let's see what happens when we hit play. Okay, cool. Now if you want to test things out without waiting, I'll show you how you can do that. But right now, our pole did not move because I forgot to set physics on it. In order to test things out, I could also just take this domino over here and just push it in simulation mode. It'll actually let you do that. So you don't have to wait for the rest of the thing. So once you hit play, you can just be like, oh, you know what? I want to push. It's too late now. But you can actually rotate things on your own. And everything works here. So now we're up high again and we can do some cool stuff. I'm going to actually set this ball so that it has, under physics material override, I want to have it rubber so it's bouncy. And I'm actually going to make my ground here rubber as well. Now once we do that, you can see that once I let this domino fall, we have a very, very, very bouncy ball. So maybe I'm going to have it come over and eventually make its way onto like some rails. So let's do this. All right, and again, just for testing purposes, I'll just, oops, forgot to set those guys off of physics. I'm not going to put supports on anything here on out just to kind of spare you guys the time. But there we go. And let's see if we can get that thing to go right in between there and get caught in between them. Okay. That would take a little bit of finagling, so maybe I shouldn't make it so bouncy, but you can do things like this. A lot of students like to do rails like this, so just for the sake of time, I'm just going to take this whole apparatus and duplicate it. And on this one, I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. Oops. And I'm going to turn off the bounciness on this one as well, so it's not going to be bouncing around like the other ones. So I just change it from rubber to default physical material. And then we can just do a little bit of testing here to kind of see what we're going to need to get that ball to bounce and hit that one. Yeah, it didn't quite work. So you'll have to just take your whole rig and just kind of play with it until you can get it to do what you want to do. Let's try that again. And because I'm using this domino, it may not be exactly the same every time, so it actually worked nicely. From there, students you can create a bunch of cool like ramps with these. These ones are kind of, I moved them together to kind of catch the ball, but at this point I could probably just take them and push them down like this. And as long as I don't have too much speed, I should be able to, catch the ball and kind of get it to turn this way and go back and forth. So let's watch the whole thing from here. There it goes. And does it stay? Cool. You can also, if it's not working because the ball's like bouncing around, you can also increase the mass and try other things like that to kind of get that to work. But again, I want you to put supports on here if you're going to build something like this so it's not just floating in the air. And so far, that would be counting as we have 1 event, 2 events, 3 events. So I need 2 more. And you can get really creative with this. So that's kind of the basics of how to get started with this. Those are just a few things you can do. Ramps, you can do these types of things with the slides. You can do poles that hit things. You can do dominoes. You can do rotating things. Oh, let me just show you one more thing. A teeter-totter would also be a really good thing to add in here. So the ball comes over here. Let's have it hit this thing. And then once again, I'm going to turn on physics. And I'm going to lock the position, but I'm going to make it so that I can rotate along the red axis, which is going to be our X. With that, I could maybe put another one of these over here. So it's going to cause this one to go down. And I'm going to even do one more over here. Up, down, up. Okay, so this one will go up, and then we could take this apparatus, move it over here. I duplicated it with Alt, and let's push that down. Make this ball a little bit bigger, and hopefully that'll cause this thing to smash that. So let's test it out. I'm just going to pull this guy forward. Oh, too much. Let's try that again. Let's test it out. I'm going to just push this one a little bit forward with a little nudge. That goes down, that goes up, and didn't quite hit. So yeah, you're just going to have to kind of make adjustments to kind of see where everything goes. Let's try that one more time. Let's watch it from the beginning. Dominoes, pull, hits, comes down. Let's hope that it goes good. Perfect. Down, up, down, and there. And now we have another bouncy ball. So get creative. Please don't copy what I'm doing here. Make your own stuff. Look at other Rube Goldberg machines. And then if you want to get a little bit deeper, we'll talk about how you can do swinging things with ropes and cool stuff like that. All right. Thanks for watching.